Going to share some of the insights on the latest NBC article on the dark side of the Asian masculinity movement. I'm Kevin Kreider, and growing up, I kept hearing the same things. Asian men aren't sexy, Asian men are nerds, Asian men can't get the girl. And for years, I felt like I had to prove these people wrong. So I worked harder, got stronger, physically as well, made sure I was seen as attractive as I could be. But deep down, I wasn't building confidence. I was battling insecurity. And that's exactly what's happening online right now. This NBC article isn't just showing the toxic masculinity side. It's really about mental health of the Asian men. It's about a generation of Asian men who have been ignored for so long that some of them are breaking in ways we don't even realize. The truth is, a lot of these movements started with good intentions, but somewhere along the way, there's always a few who take this as justification for misogyny and sexism, but it doesn't represent the whole movement. It's also, to me, I see as a cry for help. The folks who are representing the Asian toxic masculinity in this NBC article should really be seen as having more of a mental illness. Today, we're breaking down how Asian masculinity is being hijacked by dangerous ideas, my personal experience with this, and how we can redefine strength without falling into the same traps. By the end of this video, you'll understand where the Asian masculinity movement went wrong, how toxic ideas about masculinity hold us back, and how it's not helping us, and where do we go from here. I remember the first time I heard a white girl say, "I don't date Asian guys." And I heard it again and again. Then I started hearing from Asian women too. It was like Asian masculinity didn't even exist to them. Like we weren't even an option. And when I looked around at how Asian guys were portrayed in movies and TV, it started to make sense. We were nerds, sidekicks, the joke, never the hero, never the love interest. And when that's all you see over and over again, it starts messing with your head. So I did what a lot of Asian guys do. I went in the opposite direction. Just like any pendulum swing, when you're trying to escape one extreme, you end up in the other. I thought if I could date white women, the same ones who rejected guys who looked like me, I'd be proving something. That I was desirable, that I was different, that I had somehow won the game. And for a while it worked, but I didn't realize I was playing into the same exact system I thought I was escaping. What I thought was success was eventually seen as self-hatred. I didn't even understand how Asian women were fetishized until I started dating Asian women. That's when it hit me. I wasn't choosing the women from the past because I was genuinely connected with them. I was choosing them because of what they represented to me. And deep down, I was still chasing validation. This is why I don't look at these online Asian masculinity movements and call them toxic. I see them more as some of the extremes have more like a disease, like alcoholism, like cancer. You know, when someone is sick, you don't blame them for it. You don't mock them. You want to help them heal. But the problem is, I didn't know how to ask for help. Same thing is happening to these men. They created a group because they were so ignored for so long that a lot of it's processing their emotions. They're told that they can't express themselves. Their thoughts aren't real. Their feelings aren't real. They're invalidated. But I thought telling someone I felt insecure would also emasculate myself. So what happened instead? Started to blame others. I got angry. And that's what's happening to a lot of guys online right there right now. They're not talking about their pain. They're just projecting it outward. But here's what I realized. Asking for help and actually allowing myself to receive help, that made me stronger than I ever could have been alone. So I say, let's step back for a second. Yes, a lot of Asian women and men date outside their race, but let's look at the numbers in America. Asian Americans make up only about 7% of the US population. So naturally, most of the people we interact with and date won't be Asian. That's just a numbers game. But here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Are we choosing our partners based on real connection, or are we still trapped in the stereotypes we grew up with? Ask yourself this. Do you genuinely love this person for their character, for how they treat you, or are you using them like a status symbol, a luxury good on your arm, something that makes you feel validated, like you've made it? I've seen this happen with both Asian men and Asian women. I grew up with a lot of different Asian women who ended up marrying white men, not because they weren't attracted to Asian men. They actually preferred Asian men, but because they found a partner who treated them well. But I also know Asian guys who only date white women, not because of love, but because they think it proves something. It's like they're all chasing an image instead of asking, does this person actually make me happy? I don't really like the term toxic masculinity. It immediately puts people on defensive. It polarizes us instead of bringing us together. There might be parts that aren't working in masculinity, especially Asian masculinity, that we need to really bring to the forefront and discuss together and how we can become better together. What we're really dealing here also is, I'd like to frame it as more of a mental health issue, a disease that convinces us that we're not enough, that telling us that we have something to prove, something that makes us feel like we're either victims or warriors in some culture war that doesn't even exist. But here's the reality. These extreme voices, the ones raging online about how Asian men need to dominate or that Asian women are betraying them, they are a small, loud fraction of the conversation. They do not speak for the majority of Asian men. These Reddit groups have been around for quite a while beyond just this recent article. They do not represent all of us. So instead of reacting to them, let's ask ourselves better questions. Instead of chasing an image, let's start building real confidence. Confidence that isn't built on proving something to others, but on knowing who we are. But that starts with honesty about our insecurities and our fears. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. The more we open up about these conversations, the closer we get to breaking these cycles and actually becoming stronger. Not just as men, we don't need to prove anything to anyone. We just need to first accept ourselves, who we are, stop obsessing over other people first, so we can focus on how we can become better. Use that energy on becoming better ourselves.